Hello, welcome to Patched. I'm your host, Paul James. Today I'm joined by Damo, our host for tonight, and Matto Phillips.
Jeez.
Not the host for tonight.
Not the host for tonight.
And
Damo,
never.
you are host because you've thrown a topic at us, and it was kind of sitting on the to-do list until this whole Xbox thing from last week was done, and now that it's done and the world hasn't given us any really fascinating news, we're going to talk about it. So what is your very evergreen topic?
A friend rang me up and he asked me, he thought about it, and then when he said it, I thought about it myself too, is do side quest make games shit, pretty much, is what he maybe said in a much more poetic way, but, I mean, I'm not here to F spiders, am I? But no, so it got me thinking, and the way he described it is you look at something like Final Fantasy VII, the remake, all of a sudden there's side quests, and people are like, ugh, this is such a drag, this is a pain, and it's like, wait, and then he asked me, he goes, I never played Final Fantasy VII, he goes, were there side missions? And I'm like, yeah, you just kind of did them, but you didn't realize they were there, they're there.
There was probably half a dozen for the entire game, and they were bigger, sprawling sort of things, not go fetch my cats.
Yeah.
Like in the remake.
Yeah, I mean, well, you've got the cross-dressing moment. It's like a whole so it's like a part of the main game.
Still the main experience,
but then but you can do more. There's side questy things that you can do to get a better outcome,
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, is the thing that ruins it for people having a list there? Does that upset people? So when you have a list of side quests, does that become an annoyance? Because it's like a to-do thing, like cross this off. But when it's not there, and you're just kind of doing it naturally and things are occurring, like it's a little discovery, does that make side quests better? And it was like, so the big question is, do side quests actually make or hurt a game?
Let's spin it back to you before we jump in, because you've just literally finished the game that's possibly got more side quests than anything else in the history of all games, The Witcher 3.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
but see, that's the thing, though. None of that feels like a side quest.
And
it
what was
doesn't
it
feel
about?
like a side quest.
Why is that? Don't get me wrong. I agree with you.
Because it naturally just feels like you're playing out the game, because the way the Witcher himself is made, it's just like you're living that character's life. You're not really going out and doing things that aren't what would be, thing. Like, so many of those things are contracts, him going apart
Frying
from
pans.
playing Gwent and things like that. And,
The village.
yeah, most of them are kind of related to, this legendary person. So it's not really, it's not in the same frame. Like, it doesn't feel like it is a side quest as much as it is as an experience, an optional experience for that character, which, I mean, it's such a weird way to word it, but I'm guessing that would be more in the frame what I think The Witcher would be then versus side quests. Don't get me wrong, some of them, were tedious and annoying, but
not many though.
The goat?
None of them were like
the goat.
None of
the goat one?
So
What was the goat one?
Find the goat. You go have to find that wizard's goat. It ran off. I think that's part of the main.
Yeah, I remember that one.
You have to ring the
you
little
gotta
bell.
herd it back, right? Yeah. Holy shit.
Or follow the bell like.
Yeah.
But then doesn't he make a whole bunch of comments about it being shit as well? Like they know it's a bad quest and they put it in there and had a bit of took the piss.
But it's
how
one of
much
those,
of a waste of time it is.
It's one of those strange things, because even though you've got a to-do list, I think because in no way, shape or form do you ever have a surplus of money super bad in The Witcher until later on. Like, at the beginning, you're doing everything to scrounge enough together to get your shit repaired. you know, and then you're like, oh, I want to make this, and it's like, oh well, you're gonna have to do out and do some things, kill some things or whatever, and then it's like, oh, and then it's like there's things floating about that are higher level, and the game lets you really know that, you know, with a little skull above their head, and sometimes you can't cheese 10 drowned deads. I tried. Maybe for an hour. But, you know,
That's
I killed
persistence,
one, and I was like, yes, I got this. And then there was a bunch more that came out. I'm like, oh, shit, I ain't got this. But, you know, yeah, it is. It's a strange one. What about you guys? You've both played Witcher.
Matto, go for it.
I think the thing with the Witcher 3 is it's a story on its own. It's not some repetitive task you have to do like in other games where you do the same thing over and over and over again. You're thinking, oh, great, it's another one of these. Something like Assassin's Creed where you just go, oh, I've got to kill a guy. Great.
But also in Assassin's Creed, there was that mission that I keep talking about, that side quest that I keep talking about, the one where you find out...
Yeah, the dad. I did that. That was great.
Was it?
But
Fuck,
okay, I'll
fuck the
exclude
dad and
Origins
kill the
and
mum.
Odyssey.
And then the dude finds out and runs off screaming. Now that's comedy gold. You couldn't write a better script in Borderlands for that.
Yeah, but I think the thing is too, you don't really notice a side quest if it's a good side quest. You just do it. But
Well, that's
when
where
it
The Witcher
starts to
3 did
get-
it so well.
Yeah, that's the thing I did. I just did side quests for the heck of it. I thought, this is not boring. You keep doing it. Like, I think there was one mission. I know we're on The Witcher 3 because it's pretty much the perfect example of good side quests. I think you're in Kaer Morhen and you try to. Oh, apparently someone wants you to go kill a rock troll. And then I went to go, started talking. I thought, you know what? I'm not going to attack it. And Geralt just yells out, "Stop it! I'm not here to kill you." And after 3 times he says stop, you have a talk with this rock troll.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I'm thinking, oh wow. Thought I would never have thought to not. Although for some stupid reason I thought, you know what, I'm not going to kill it. And then you just have this conversation with it. I thought,
Yeah, I think I went the same way in the end.
Yeah.
Without realising.
I didn't
without
kill him.
realizing. Oh, you did kill him.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I was
did
about
it.
to say arsehole.
Rock and Roller or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
Rock
that's
and
the
Roller.
one.
Yeah, he was cool. It's like, I think if you get hit at the beginning, like it does a shitload of damage to you. I don't know.
Well-
I can't remember. There was one that like almost insta kills you, and then you can get into an argument with it and then kill it. But
Can we think of any other games kind of in that same Witcher mold that? Because I guess the connecting thread that we've all kind of landed on so far is that like those ones are good because they actually add to the character or they add to the story or whatever. They're not just
yeah,
cool missions,
Well,
which you can get off having a few cool missions and then that's it. Like that's a model that can work as well. I'm sure we'll get to some games like that do that pretty well as well. But like, are there others examples that you can kind of think of where it's those side quests that kind of add to the character or the world or whatever, that sort of thing? You're not sure. There's probably a few of those shitty fetch quests and stuff in there as well, but there's or goat missions, but there's also those other ones that really add to the world, and you kind of make choices, or maybe you don't get to quite make choices like the troll, but yeah, you get to experience more of the world, and it's not just to farm levels or farm XP.
I think Borderlands 2 did a really good job with side questing. Not that it gave you more experience of your character or whatever, or yeah, and sometimes it was the bonus loot or whatever. I think that what made Borderlands 2 fun is that like the world is fun enough to explore in Borderlands. They've already set up such a perfect and fun world, but some of those side quests you just come across and you just do them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though it's in your missions list and things, but they don't say like side quest or whatever. I can't. I don't think.
Exclamation mark. Just
You've
popped
kind of,
up.
yeah, and you're kind of like, oh, don't really have to do it, but that there's nothing like. There's always a chance if you kill something in Borderlands that it might drop something absolutely incredible. So I think the way they've set up their quest and everything isn't necessarily gameplay wise. Well, yeah, it's more gameplay wise than it is anything else. Like, it's like, hey, just so you know, anything can drop something incredible, or you might find an orange rarity weapon in just like a pile of dog shit. Like it's totally capable. The only thing that I didn't like about the side quest in 2 was like the circles of slaughter or whatever. Like I'm not a fan of
some
like,
of those arena ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of things like that. But outside of that, there's heaps. There's even ones that you don't even discover unless you've killed enough enemies. Like there's like David and Goliath or something like that. If you kill
Enough
like one of the Goliaths, that he drops like the little speaker box thing, you listen to it, and I was like, oh, so that's cool because it's like, you know, RNG just has to kind of be on your side a little bit, or you just have to farm. But it's like there's hidden side missions, and like I wouldn't be tempted to do it unless, you know, it's like, ooh, well, this game has never let me down on a mission. Yeah, sure, there are some things that are annoying, like, you know, killing woolly bongs or whatever, and, you know, some of the hunting things are like, ugh. But again, sometimes you can walk out with like a better random loot reward than the actual reward for completing the mission. So it's kind of worth doing. Like,
yeah,
I think that's one way. So, yeah.
I think the other thing too is the whole pop culture references as well with your Ninja Turtles. Yeah, and Borderlands 2. Ninja Turtles, Top Gun. I think there was a Star Wars. Oh, there's always a Star Wars referencing it somewhere. I think the funniest one in Borderlands 2 was the punch the guy in the face.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's like,
yeah, I think I remember.
Punch to the face. There you go. That was the whole mission. That was the whole task done in like 2 seconds.
Well, yeah, it's some of the dialogue and that sort of stuff that kind of helps as well. Like maybe you don't get a huge amount of story, but you get things like God of War from 2018, where some of the side quests weren't amazing things, but like you'd catch you'd have to ride the little boat all around to get to where you needed to go, and so you get to hear this awesome story from what's his name. Old nearly headless Nick, as you're wandering around. Sorry, I forgot. I've just gone blank on his name. But the
headless Nick, that's Harry Potter.
No, I know that. I know that's Harry Potter. It's just it was a headless reference. Mimir, that's who I'm looking for. Like he's telling you now. Admittedly, you don't have to be going on a side quest for that, but like it's those sort of experiences.
It made you want to continue to explore, or you wouldn't mind taking such a further thing that's out of your way. Because
I get to learn a shit ton of stuff in the process. I'd get to the I'd get to the little spot where I'm going to dock my little boat, and then I'd just sit there and wait until he finished his story, because that was kind of cool.
But the other thing is, there's no list of things either. Like you just kind of you just do things in God of War games.
Oh no, but keep in mind, God of War 2018 is very different in that regard. It does have a
a list.
Yeah, there's a list.
Is there?
Yeah. And then there's the other thing that you don't like. You were talking about arena encounters. Then there's the giant battles against the, what do you call them? Giant bird dudes. Holy shit! I'm drawing a complete blank.
Valkyries.
The Valkyries. There's the Valkyrie part as well.
I was going to say
that's okay, because it's not wave after wave. You don't have to wait forever in between them. Like you just go and you can do them.
I mean, that's the thing. You can opt in.
The problem I have with the Circles of Slaughter is it's like wave. And there's sometimes there's just an enemy that's just so far at you, you're like, oh Christ. But I mean, I think that's also game fatigue. Like by the time you get to that point with the Circles of Slaughter, you're like, oh, is there enough killing in this game? Like, do I have to do this? Ugh. I mean, they're fun if you want to test out your build and anything like that, but I don't know, it's not my thing from Borderlands. But no, see, I didn't mind the Valkyries.
Okay.
Hard
as shit.
bastards. But, the payoff
I didn't ask for
was
Dark Souls
cool.
in my God of War.
Oh, and, you've got... nice. But, you've got, what are they called? Odin's Eyes or whatever. The crows floating around. Collectible side quests. See? Not a massive fan, but some of those things were kind of clever in a sense. Like it was like, ooh, like how do I get to that one? What do I have to do? Is there a location? Is there an area? And so it kind of forced you to explore a little bit more. Like especially if you're a collectathon kind of person, like it's things like that. But Like it is like. Ooh.
But there's some games that can do that real well, and others that can't. Because then on the flip side, I'd say Spider-Man doesn't do that part very well. As brilliant as Spider-Man is, and I completed all of them because I could see an easy platinum on the end of it.
Yeah, same. It was such a drag.
Like
you just have to sit there and wait for the crimes.
8 different parts of the city, and then within those you'd need to finish at least 5.
15 crimes.
Like 15 some crimes. Stupid number of crimes plus the other things as well.
Sable, prisoners, and whatever the other one was.
Like there was a few good things, but yeah, some of those other ones, like the ones you just mentioned, Matt, like they were just shit.
Sucked.
And so
there was another one too.
Bloated the time out.
What was the other one? Harry's little lab things.
Oh yeah, you get to these specific spots, and it's kind of like the old fixing up the electrical circuits sort of things, and you kind of, I think in this case you had to re-pipe some stuff to get flow of liquid. Or something. Yeah, those sorts of things. They're a pain in the ass. Those things.
Yeah, but I mean,
in terms of puzzles, but also like ruining your flow, but also ruining the flow of the game.
Kind of a pain in the butt for like as a side quest, but like the thing that let Spider-Man do things cool was just the traversal. The traversal made it like not doable, more enjoyable.
Yeah.
To use it, thing. Like, but yeah, I think I can agree. Is like I didn't love those side quests and the collectathons and things. It was like, just give me. Especially when it's so much fun swinging around and doing things, and then when you have to be grounded to fight a bunch of dudes that slowly come at you, and so it is. I'm guessing, there is a difference in. See, that doesn't even have a list though. Like that we didn't bring up a list. That there's not the list, so maybe it isn't the list that upsets people.
Oh, the list can be intimidating.
There is a list. It's just like you can kind of call it a list. It's just the number of things you got to find.
Oh no, like I mean, like we didn't bring it up. Like that wasn't the thing. That wasn't the issue that we had. Like because I think comparing Final Fantasy VII was the problem is that you've got a list now, and that kind of feels like a drag. Even though you're just kind of doing things and you're getting XP, and you got the JRPG grindathon going on because that's how you JRPG.
I mean,
I think the list has upset some people because they're like, it doesn't feel the same or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's different from.
I don't quite understand the Final Fantasy, like the criticism about the list with Final Fantasy. I know that's not you specifically saying it's stuff that you've seen or heard or whatever, but like there's about 15 or 20 side quests in the entire game over like 30 odd hours. Most of them you can knock over in 5 to 10 minutes. And it's not some list there amongst your main missions and all that sort of stuff. Like it is a separate thing that you actually have to go and hunt for to actually find. Like it's pretty subtle. Yeah, the missions themselves aren't fantastic. Like there's a couple good ones and there's a few duds. Again, like go and find my cats for me, and then they just spend the next 10 minutes running away from you. So then you go to her and say, "Oh damn it, sorry I couldn't find them," and then they magically appear in front of you. Like, well, that just wasted my time. Fuck you. Like there's some dodgy ones.
Yeah.
But then there's others that. They're pretty cool. But I think, the list one in that particular game confuses me a little bit. But are there, to flip the argument around or the conversation around, are there games where you feel like they would benefit from having more or anything like that?
More side quests.
More side quests or any side quests? Like I think about how, for myself, like I just finished, we spoke about this just before the recording, that I just finished Pokemon Sword and Shield, and there's a specific side quest pathway that you can go through at the end there to unlock certain legendaries and whatever the ones that are on the cover, which you would have to go hunt for to actually do it. You're not kind of led by the hand to do it.
That's after game,
and it's kind of technically end game as well. But like I wouldn't mind one of the majority of the experience when I'm playing Pokemon Sword and Shield or kind of any Pokemon game is that I don't really care what people have to say. I want to care what they've got to say.
Yeah.
I want to be immersed a little bit in the world. All I care about is catching as many as I can, filling out my decks, because that's kind of the sort of person I am. I don't care about the competitive stuff, whatever, no big deal. I want to beat the Elite Four or the champion or whatever it is in the particular game. And then there's my fun. But if you were to give me a few cool side quests where I learn a little bit more about the world and how it came to be the way it was, like there was in the case of Sword and Shield, there were little threads there, like Dynamaxing and why is this a thing, and how do the legendaries get wrapped up? And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Can you try and tell more stories like this, but without a shit cast of characters around me, like in Pokemon Sword and Shield?
What'd be great would have been flashbacks, like you go flashback to the ancient Pokemon world or whatever, and then you're even if you're not the trainer, you're just the Pokemon, and you have a battle or whatever, and then it gives you a really cool cutscene or something like that. It's like makes it more immersive. But you have to go out and find some stupid hallucinogenic mushroom or something. I don't know.
And you got to layer it with interesting characters, because for all I know, and just to use this as an example, for all I know, the whole story about Team Yell is really, really interesting, but they're fucking annoying. So I skipped every single time one of them spoke. Bang, 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 bang. Just beep, 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 beep. Just get away from me. Fucking stop wasting my time.
Team Yell was pretty boring.
That is the worst thing that they've possibly done to Pokemon. Yeah, they're a cheer squad. Fuck off.
What?
Yeah. We've gone from Team Rocket in the early days to wanting to take over the world to basically cheerleaders of one person.
I would like a
Marty, we love you.
That's a completely different topic and how to make Pokemon better. If I was to start going down that road, but Pokemon side missions would be cool.
Half of them off.
Outside of the collectathon of Pokemon and breeding and things like that, there's and the Elite Four, some endgame content. The DLC will be handy, but it would be nice to have some side quests to keep the game.
We all just mainline it at the beginning.
Fresh, that you can, it's like, hey,
tempt me to not mainline it.
I'm missing this Pokemon. Can you help me find it? It's like, you know what? I'd actually be happy to do that. And then it's like, cool.
And then I'll throw a Pokeball at it, catch it, and take it for myself. Haha.
Yeah, it might be some old lady, and she's like, well, my Genghis-Khan would be much happier with you. You're like, yeah, thanks, bitch. But incentives.
Oh look, I found a fossil.
I think what I think what makes a good side quest anything is either the development of the character or a decent enough incentive. I think that's what we've all kind of started saying. Like, if Pokemon was to do it, then if it was to developing a better, more deeper understanding of the world, you'd do it. I mean, some kids wouldn't, because it's like, I'm going to catch me some Pokemons, and that's fine, because and sing. But I think, that game needs to start changing with the ages. You know what I mean? Like, they've done some great things graphically and gameplay wise and all that, but
holy shit, max raid battles, now that I'm done. I feel like I'll save this mostly for the patched updates, but holy shit, I love max raid battles. They're awesome. That's the best thing they've ever done to that franchise.
Mm-hmm. They sure have, son.
Oh. 3/4 of my playtime so far has been that.
Your Flanny is super red. Like,
I know.
This jumper used to be as red as your Flanny. Like,
red as that wall.
Sorry for audio
listeners.
sorry, audio listeners. You might want to check the thumbnail on Twitter and see what we're talking about. No, I don't know. Is there any? Wait. So outside of Pokemon,
anything outside of Pokemon that you guys can think of that would benefit from actually having a little bit of that stuff? Yeah.
Any Rockstar game.
Don't they have lots of side quests?
Yeah, but they're boring as hell. If you go from Grand Theft Auto 5, where you have to... There's one side quest where you have to go in the submarine and try and find all these little... I can't remember if they're aeroplane or something. You have to find someone's husband, and you collect all the things, and he's like, oh, thanks. Here's a picture of my husband, and walks off. And that's the whole side task.
So I don't remember that one, but...
I think that's why San Andreas rocked so hard, though. The side quest of taking over all the territories.
Oh yeah, that was heaps of fun.
Like fighting gangs, like that was cool. Like that thing, because one, it helps develop your character. too. It was a fun mission. Like
Then you get that
anytime,
phone
you know.
call. Get the phone call. Oh, we're under attack. You just steal someone's car, and just drive off.
Yeah,
Go into
it
the
make
territory,
you-
and just start shooting up everyone. Like, right, this is mine. Even in the San Andreas, when you're driving the truck, you got a time limit. You got a little truck, and you just got to drive to a certain area. I can't remember where.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun because it wasn't that difficult, but it didn't take that long either. It was just 5 minutes and you're done. Like,
Yeah.
sweet. Same with like the territory things. It's that you can go in, done in a minute. You're like, yeah, that's right, my territory.
Oh, yeah.
Done.
I suppose I'm going to spend more time with GTA, but are there any other franchises that we can think of? Like, Pokemon
could
was fresh in my
benefit?
head because I literally finished the game today, but
I mean, Zelda could do with removing some of the shitty ones.
Yeah.
I mean, we do call it
story
Shitty Witcher
from
for a
Breath
reason.
of the Wild would be good.
Shit, Breath
No.
of the Wild, fuck off.
No.
No.
Side quest in that are actually good. I'll accept that.
Yeah. In what? In Breath of the Wild?
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're alright.
Yeah. Well, the armor collectathon's fun. Fine. That's cool. Wait, what other things in Breath of the Wild? Side questy things.
Ride a horse.
Oh, the horses. Yeah, getting the horses.
I guess going.
Giant horse.
I guess even in the case that like going and ticking off all the shrines, like they're not like because they're
Yeah.
you get there and then there's a different challenge in each different sort of thing, whether it's a puzzle or a combat thing or whatever. Like they're kind of cool. In fact, most of them are really well done. I can't really think of too many duds amongst the shrines.
Just
that
the
I-
ones where you
that I
had
explored
to.
anyway.
You
The
had
battle
to.
ones.
Oh yeah,
Battles,
use the gyro in the Switch or the controller. Yeah, that's not great.
I like the people that speedrun it and just like show you, like they just go "Huh," and fling the ball, like, and you're like, get out of it, get
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
out of it. I've tried it. I'm like, oh, that looks easy. Throw my controller through a wall. Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, heart pieces and things like that. That's cool. Kind of really enjoyed the fact that like Breath of the Wild removed heart pieces, like, because that's such a some of them are
finding
just a
them.
pain, or I guess remove like it always sucks when you miss something and you can't go back and get it.
Yeah.
Like, and I know that's like, you know,
the first South Park game that did that.
Oh, with the chin
Yeah.
Pokemon. The chin Pokemon, there's the one in the
Yeah.
spaceship.
Pokemon!
Yeah, you go through the school that's getting destroyed by Nazi cows, and if you miss it,
Yeah.
you can't go back to it.
I mean,
No,
you
I had the same
could
problem.
be on the verge of sending me into a massive spiral here about like missable trophies and those sort of things, because that's basically my exact like your complaint with that is my exact same issue when it comes to trophies. And I guess
There it
technically
goes.
they're kind of linked because a lot of these days in a lot of games your side quests are linked to trophies. You know, collect all the somethings so you get a trophy for it. And if you get like a chin Pokemon that's locked in a particular spot, if you don't get it, you're fucked. That
Yeah.
gives me the shits. The doctor
Yeah.
told me I wouldn't have so many nosebleeds if I kept my finger out of there.
Ha 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 ha.
Sorry, listeners. Damo's
But,
just sprung a leak
yeah.
from his nose.
Yeah, no, I don't mind if you miss it when they give you an opportunity to win it back in like a mini game or something.
Or chapter select.
Yeah, chapter select's always a handy feature. Like, you know, if you miss a fighter in Smash Brothers, like, you know, when a challenger approaches,
Oh yeah, and you
there's
lose.
actually like a thing in your options, like you can go and refight him. You get like an extra chance if you do, you know, you accidentally stuff up or whatever, which is handy. But you know, that needs to appear in some more things, especially if it's like I get replayability, you know, wanting to platinum things or
New game
I don't
pluses or those sorts of things.
yeah, but sometimes it's like, no, it's not worth it. Oh god.
Make things accessible on the first run.
Yeah.
Any other games? Damo, if you need to tag out for a moment, tag out for a moment.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll just sit here with a tissue on my nostril.
Fair enough. We'll try and keep things nice and quick for your sake then.
It's okay.
Any particularly bad examples spring to mind as we kind of wind things down, end things on a negative?
trying to think bad.
Like, we've already kind of cited parts of Spider-Man, but I can't think of any games that have just all round butchered it.
No, it's always half and half.
With the side missions and stuff.
Okay. Side mission. Where's a game with bad side missions?
Like, it's just... Yeah, irredeemable. I can't really think of too many. I mean, Matto, you kind of mentioned GTA.
Yes.
Does that kind of still fit that mold for you, or is there still something that was kind of redeeming?
Let me go through my library, have a gander.
Sure. I'll go with GTA 5. Because I'm just trying to think.
I wasn't thrilled with some of the Doom Eternal stuff. I know we've kind of bashed on it recently when we hung it on the Marauder as well, and I love Doom Eternal, but the Marauder kind of sucked, and some of the side missions were a little bit, or some of the side things they got you to do were a little bit...
Like the battle mode, or battle thing where it's just on the side.
Oh, some of those like super hardcore encounters were kind of cool, but just some of those little kind of achievement things that they get you to try and do along the way, and go off and do this. Like, they don't really jive with me too much. I don't mind those like really hardcore encounters, because there is a massive audience within the Doom audience that really gets off on just like, okay, give me waves and waves of just like shit to wade through. And that's I think that's a bit like the experience there is a bit different to what then Damo was talking about when he was talking about the arenas for Borderlands. Like, I think people know what they're getting into when they go marching into Doom Eternal and go and deal with one of those arena encounters. They know that like the odds are meant to be against them. You're dealing with dozens and maybe even hundreds of these imps or whatever various different demons coming at you. Like, that's a bit different, but there are other parts where it's like, no, you don't need to do this. In the same way that I didn't think they needed us to kind of have a little bit of RPG in it. It worked, but I don't think it was necessary. Sometimes it's just adding stuff for the sake of adding stuff, and that happens in different mechanics like RPG stuff, but also with side missions and those sorts of things too. I can see you two gawking off at your collections.
I'm trying to look at all my games.
Yeah.
What about the Batman games with all the Riddler trophies?
Okay, I was actually going to say Batman. I was like,
that's too much. It's just too much.
Some of those things, like, it's like, hey, you have to not only be ridiculously good at solving this riddle, but then you also have to be super good at like controlling a really shittily designed remote batarang thing.
Wait,
yeah.
What?
You know how some of them, like in the first Batman game, you actually had to have the thing, and it was like just the tight, and like controls weren't, perfected by then.
What they are now.
I'm not saying that it's shitty. That's kind of a bit harsh. You
have to hit the question mark in the right spot. You do it a little bit too much. Like, that is the question mark, and it just doesn't work. But if you're dumb enough like this guy to do all of them in all three games...
Holy shit, have you done all of the Riddler trophies?
Yeah, all of them.
And you said all three games. Is that which one haven't you done? Because there's obviously...
Origin doesn't have them. It's only got one trophy.
Oh, Origins didn't have it, okay.
And that's at the end where he sort of becomes the Riddler.
Right, okay, now I'm with you. Holy shit. Do you have you must be close to the platinum for those three, or...
Oh, no, 100% or... Arkham Knight.
Holy shit.
Yeah, done.
Good game.
That's another silly thing. That's almost up there with Spider-Man of stupid things to do. Especially with the whole Deathstroke thing, or the disarming of mines or bombs.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's the same thing. Stupid wave of just tanks and stuff just coming through. You're thinking, again?
Yeah.
And it just sucks. Same thing, just this whole battle mode of wave of enemies is just...
Too much.
Sucks. Too much.
There's certain games where it works, and again, like I mentioned Doom before, it works in that context. But that's kind of what the game is. But then there's other games where it just doesn't. And you've both mentioned a few that don't.
I mean, hats off going through my collection. Absolute hats off for the best side missions of all time being Rayman Legends. And just having Black Betty, Bam-a-lam.
I was going to say, what are you talking about? Most people don't know anything after Black Betty because they got to Black Betty, finished Black Betty, and then continue to repeat to play Black Betty.
Mm-hmm.
This guy.
That's
Most people's
I'll
like
get back on
trophy
that.
percentage is like 5% because they get to that point, knock out Black Betty, and then they just continue to do it over and over.
And then they get
and then
every
they stop.
friend they can possibly get to come over to their house.
Hey, try Black
and
Betty.
show them that moment, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm sick of this."
What they need to do,
And it-
what Ubisoft just needs to do is forget like creating a Rayman game from now, or like their normal Rayman games, or what they've done with Origins and
musical
Legends, and
levels.
just musical levels. The whole thing. This is what Guitar Hero and Rock Band needs to become.
Hell yeah!
Just license.
Speedrun. Just the ultimate sound speedrun, like Bit Trip Runner or something. Going back to that. I love that game. I love that game so much.
Any last thoughts? Good examples, bad examples, favorite quest types.
I mean,
I love myself a fetch quest, of course.
I hate escort missions.
Oh yeah.
When things are made of glass, you're like, oh, seriously.
So what about when you've got a full game that is essentially an escort mission, like say a Bioshock Infinite or a Last of Us?
That's not really.
Well,
That's the main story.
It's the main story,
What was
but I'm just curious because that's kind of the extension then to what he's just said, because those two games are just a big escort mission.
But you don't have to worry about
I'm talking
the
about the
time.
escort missions where you can't run because the thing behind you is so slow. Or,
Oh, those.
you know,
yeah, right.
thing,
Okay.
or anything where I can't run at full speed because the character is not letting you, or like the enemy shows up and it's like, yo, I'm here and I'm clearly killing everything around me. You should focus on me. I know you're trying to kill her, but or
Get stuck
him.
behind a door and they just keep running. And he's like,
Oh, shit.
oh, come on.
Yeah, okay, I'm with
Like,
you.
Really? You that dumb that you just get stuck in the door? Just die like, oh, you deserve it. Don't worry about it. That's why
Oh.
Dead Rise, we have to find survivors. You just give up half the time because they just get stuck, eaten by zombies. Like, well, see ya, you're on your own. Goodbye.
Any other examples on the good or bad side of the spectrum as we wrap things up?
I'd say I'm gonna say bad. Old Assassin's Creed games with their ears dropping. The same thing. You have to follow
this is
with
before Origins and Odyssey, like you were saying before.
yes. Where they brought in the stupid sync option where you had to do certain things to get a fully synced. Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I hated those.
I hated that. But then
Or
good.
kill the person in a particular way.
Yeah.
Like, that defeated the purpose.
Or stay in cover for so many seconds, or all this stuff. You just go, I don't want to do this. But the good is Origins and Odyssey, where they just don't have any of that.
Yeah.
Garbage.
They
And
trimmed
actually
the
have some
fat
good-
in some ways.
Yeah, and had some good side stories as well, which, like you said, the old mum and dad story.
Oh, holy
Classic.
shit. That's...
One of the
Damo,
greats.
do you still... Like, I feel like we've only discussed that. Do you know what we're talking about with that one?
What?
The Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you fucked her dad and killed her
Killed his
mum.
mum, or the other way around.
Or the other way
Depends
around,
who you
depending
wa-
on... Yeah.
what
I
character you are.
played Cassandra, so yeah.
Yeah, so did I.
We'll have to link you to that afterwards. We'll send you a link afterwards. It's one of the...
wait, yeah, I think you guys have linked that to me before,
God, it's
and
so
I think
good.
you made me watch it. Like Paul got off on me watching it. Like he was like watching me, like yes, here it comes.
Oh, we did. This is
climax.
before we started doing the online thing. Yeah, we watched it at your place. Yes, now I remember. Good times, good times.
I think games that do it well, like you look at something like, I'm going just through my games list right now and seeing random things like Metal Gear, like 5, collecting like cassette tapes off enemies, like what I mean, to improve your soundtrack, or even Brutal Legend, or things like that, like going around the side missions of enhancing the game. Big thumbs up.
Anton enhance.
Good on you. Like, that's kind of, pardon?
I said Anton
Talking
enhance. Just just making a Kyle Bosman reference. The old ones. GameCube controller, no buttons.
Enhance.
There you go. Now you've caught up.
But yeah, no, it's. I think that, yeah, things like that, they're great. But it is when it's a collectathon, like Breath of the Wild, the Korok seeds.
Oh,
You collect over 200 of them, and what you get at the end is a fossilized piece of shit.
yeah.
That's
If you're gonna make the person put dozens of hours in, at least, make sure it's a pretty suitable reward.
The old Pokemon games. My brother did that, got all 150 Pokemon, went to the guy, he's like, oh, here you go. It was just a certificate saying, well done. Well done.
But it was only 150 back then.
And he never played another Pokemon game again. Ever.
The joy was in the adventure on the way.
Then he played Gold and Silver and Platinum and Diamond and
Black.
Pearl.
White.
Because actually this was Matto. And he... Throwback to the last few episodes where we speak about how Matto never played any Pokemon except for Red and Blue and Gold and Silver. And
Gold, Silver, Crystal, Ruby, Sapphire, Black, White, XY, Heart Gold. And that's it.
Yeah. We'll get you to play Sword and Shield too. Well, on that note, we'll wrap things up there. We've spoken about a lot of side quests, good and bad, and we've blown a lot of smoke up CD Projekt's Red's ass for The Witcher, deservedly so, because they probably do it better than anyone else. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. All the buttons are down below, and if you're a podcast listener, 5-star reviews. It'll link, so if you subscribe, it'll allow you to get access to weekly episodes of Patch, The Insider, Player 2 Plays, Like Game Review, Gamer School, and a whole bunch more. There's some awesome stuff there, so go and check it out. Visit the website player2.net.au where you find reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features, links to the podcast, the Player 2 Pixelcast, and Dev Diary. Go and subscribe. The award-winning, I can see you mouthing it. Then there's the Patreon, patreon.com/player2au, kicking a few bucks at the lower tiers, early access, higher tiers, monthly episode exclusives. Myself and Matt Hewson are eyeing off doing a little mini weekly video thing to kind of give you guys on the Patreon just a little bit more as well. We're just working out how we'll do that at the moment, but stay tuned.
By the way,
Yes.
Matt, you gorgeous, not you, Matt, the other Matt. User.
I knew that.
Hey, I'm Keen's mustard to see this child took my controller.
Oh, the book, yeah.
Ordeal. This is
It's called a spoon.
It's very few things that I like, share, and subscribe to, but that gave me the holy trinity of love right there.
That first chapter is out, and every fortnight you'll get another chapter every second Friday.
Hats off to you, man. It's awesome.
I know there's at least 10 or 11 chapters that he's already done, and he's just going to gradually roll them out and finish off the rest in the meantime. It
could become a TV series.
Yeah.
My kids stole my controller.
Yeah, man.
New on Netflix. And then there's Twitter. Damo, you are found at
Tacos Talks.
Matto, you are found at
Matto_Phil.
Paul James Games for me. The website's player2au. And until next time, go find a game littered with side quests and bathe in them.
And then tweet at us.
Yeah, tell us your best.
Comment on the YouTube video.
Tell us your best.
And tell us on the YouTubes.
See you later, guys.
Whatever else.
And then we'll patch things.
Patch the perks.
We'll fix it up.
Patch the perks.